Welcome back to You're Not Gonna Like This. This is episode 8, Cancel Culture. Today we have a special guest, Alex Powell of the After Sunset podcast. Ad names for both pages and any other any other context for his page will come up very shortly. And as always, we have my man PJ co-hosting as usual every episode. All right, so before we get into the episode on the cancel culture, let me tell y'all what's going to happen in this episode. We're going to talk about, I'm going to define it for y'all, and then we're going to talk about a couple of examples maybe, and then we're going to speak on can the cancel ever be reaccepted. So first things first, the definition. Cancel culture is the cancellation of celebrity figure due to an act they did that was deemed by society as morally or unethically wrong. Prime example for you all would be definitely with the Tory Lanez thing, him and Meg Thee Stallion, with him coming out with the album instead of apologizing for the actions that he had, which is automatically deemed as morally and can also be said as unethically wrong since he didn't have the audacity to come out with an apology instead of just coming out with an album basically discrediting everything Megan even said, despite the reports and all of it matching to him doing the shooting. And it also was kind of like offensive to, especially to me since me being kind, also Alex being a kind major as well. When he said the whole line with the shot not hitting no bones and tendons, that joint just that joint just didn't make any sense to me, because it don't have to hit bones and tendons. Like bullets just don't travel in a straight line. But I wasn't gonna get too much into that. But nonetheless, he was definitely out of line, out of pocket for what he did do. So I gotta ask my first question to you all. I'm gonna go with Alex first, he's our guest. Do you feel that cancel culture is effective?
Um, it's not effective. I mean, a lot of the times when you look at cancel culture, it's more of the outrage that anybody would feel when anything that negative happens. You know, it's kind of people's way of kind of getting that release. But I also feel like it's a lot more showmanship than really this is what we truly feel, or really this is what truly is the wave of what people are going on. Because it's not really going to stick. Like I look at the Tory Lane situation and the premise of innocent until proven guilty. Well, how does that work if we take one side or another, right? So then I look at from that standpoint and I say, okay, well, if you cancel me now and then I get proven innocent, what happens then? Like, does that cancel stick? Was this even worth it? Was I just mad for nothing? Like all that type of stuff. I feel like a lot of the times we put a lot of pressure on celebrities to be like these highest like demigod role models that can never do anything wrong, and like you forget that they're people, you know what I'm saying, with a follow, like they're people with a following. They may do stuff that we like or that we admire and stuff like that, but it's not really on us. Now you can personally cancel somebody, you could personally be like, I'm not going to support them anymore, but does it even have to be broadcasted if you're doing some shit like that? I don't believe so, which is why I think in the overall schemes it's just kind of like foolishness, but it's what people do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's not as effective as people would like it to be. Especially in the Tory Lanez, for example, you could say people were trying to cancel him, but that cancellation kind of elevated what he was trying to do. He put out an album. Pretty sure the album went #1 for the week it was out. So um, a lot of the controversy that these famous people go through and they try to get canceled for ends up elevating their status. I think that cancellations are more, like you said, personal. If you're gonna, you could personally cancel somebody, you could personally, remove your support for them. But at the end of the day, if they already have a platform, if they're already of high stature, if they're already elevated among society, it's going to be very hard to cancel them. They're always going to have their loyal supporters. A lot of people can cancel Trump. Trump's always going to have his core base. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, a lot of the times cancel culture doesn't really work. A lot of times it could be actually be counterproductive. So yeah, that I would say cancel culture is not as effective as it should be, or as people would like it to be.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. The fact that it's deemed cancel culture might be one of the main reasons not as effective. Because if you can look in the past situations, like I had to bring out with the Chris Brown Rihanna thing, of course, when cancel culture wasn't really a thing and social media wasn't really popular, Chris Brown really like when you had to actually go in the store and like buy the album still because streaming wasn't there yet. Chris Brown like really lost a lot of money back then because people like really like it became like personal to that point because they really like didn't buy his album. Like he dropped, I think, exclusive in 2007, and after that, he didn't drop another project, if I'm not mistaken, till 2011 with Fame. I think I might be wrong on that. I don't know. I gotta make sure, but I know it was definitely like a hiatus with his albums coming out due to that domestic violence dispute with Rihanna, of course. And the same thing with the R. Kelly situation. A lot of people made that personal, so and then things actually, got worked out. R. Kelly's in jail now. He's bankrupt, for one thing, which is very surprising for the fact that he's been making music for almost 20 to 30 years and he's actually bankrupt with no money. So it shows that if it becomes personal and not social media, it can really be beneficial. So my my next question to you all is: do you feel like those that have been canceled can ever be reaccepted by society?
I mean, I think society won't ever admit it as a whole, but everybody loves a redemption arc. Everybody loves the comeback story. Everybody loves when somebody goes through some adversity and then can come out on the other side and be like, I made it, and then they can give their testimony and everything else like that. And it sucks because on some levels it's like, okay, what is acceptable to come back from and what isn't. And I do feel like there's a line of like, all right, there's just certain things that I don't know if I personally could give somebody a pass on. But at the same time, like it's different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people who look, they you slap them today, they turn the other cheek, and then there's people who will never forgive you for the fact that you ever hit them in the first place. So it's always going to be that fine line. But I think society as a whole loves a redemption arc. I think that's one of the reasons why it's always the matter of what have you done for me lately, because it's like the whole idea of somebody falling off, the whole idea of somebody kind of going down bad is just so like it never gets stagnant. We never want to feel like we're just praising you. Like we also want to tell you you're a piece of crap at times. So it's like that's the normal human wave. So it's like it's the normal human societal wave as well. But I definitely think people can come back from a lot, especially if they already had a following, especially if they've done things that people like appreciate or people have used to get them through hard times. Like hell yeah, they can come back.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a matter of what you did to get you in, the whole cancellation phase. People like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, you might not be able to come back from things like that. You know what I mean? But in a situation that Chris Brown was in, that's something that people could forgive you for. It was a horrible situation. He messed up. At the end of the day, he was a young man. He grew from that. A lot of things in his life changed, and he became a better person at the end of the day. I think people are human. We make mistakes. At the end of the day, it's about how you bounce back from it. Like you said, people love a redemption story. So I think we're in a society that could be very forgiving at times, even at faults. But yeah, I definitely think people could come back from their situations. Like I said, people are only human. People make mistakes. There's some situations that you can't come back from, and that's how life is. But there are a lot of situations that you can. So yeah, I think people definitely could come back.
How do y'all feel about people taking some of these instances so personally?
Well, it obviously depends on the act that happened, of course. So like PJ said with the R. Kelly, that's sexual assault and
Mm-hmm.
predicate. Like that's a whole nother level of just wrong. So you can't. That's definitely personal because like speaking for like me and PJ, I don't know if Alice had a little sister, but me and him have little sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be all out war. If anything like that went down, it'd be all out war. So like, those things you can never forgive because it's like I could never fathom something on my sister being involved in a situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason it can be personal. Now with the Chris Brown thing, on the other hand, it's like Peter said, he was a young man. Chris Brown was all of, I want to say 20, maybe 21, our age right now when he did that. And yeah, that was wrong. Should never, hit a woman in any circumstances. But like he said, PJ, like PJ said, he bounced back. He did what he was supposed to do, and now Chris Brown is back. Getting those Michael Jackson comparisons as one of the greater artists of all time again. So it all depends on what happened to bounce back.
I think what makes people get so personal with these issues is basically how they look at whoever it was that did the deed, or you might take like the whole Chris Brown situation. His loyal fans might have taken it a little more personal than the people who weren't paying attention to him for real, or R. Kelly fans may have taken his situation more personal, or even in a more serious case, the Larry Nassar thing. How he went to jail and he was basically the doctor for the U.S. Women's Olympic team or whatever. Gymnasts might take that whole situation more personally than people who aren't gymnasts, because these are people that they look up to going through these instances. You know what I mean? I think it's all based on how you look at the person, how you look at who was involved, things of that nature. And I think that it's a lot of different factors that go into the personal feelings that you have towards these instances.
What about you, Alex?
It's hard for me to take these situations where it's people I don't know personally. It's like I hear it and I get why people are mad, but at the same time I don't get why people are mad, because and that could be situations from maybe they've dealt with the same situation and all that type of stuff, so like I can understand it from that perspective. But like sometimes you'll go online and you'll just be reading through somebody's comments and it's just like some of the most hateful stuff you've seen, and it's like, bro, how do you have this disdain, or on the flip side, this infatuation for somebody that you really just like don't know? And that wasn't something where I feel like I was always in that headspace, but like also hearing celebrities talk about it. I think J. Cole talks about that all the time, where it's like, yes, I make music, yes, I do all this, but like I'm not an idol, I'm not this, I'm not that, just to kind of let you as the fan know, like, we're only so close and it's really not close at all, type stuff like that. And I think once I kind of took that step back and stopped kind of investing that personal element to it, it's like I could just allow whatever they do to be whatever they did, and like not live in that fear of, oh, that reflects poorly. If I support this person, that reflects poorly on me, or if I am not canceling somebody based off of some dumb shit that they may have done, that doesn't reflect poorly on me. I feel like a lot of people fall into that, and then they have this anxiety of like, oh my God, if I ever listen to this person or do this or do that, I'm now on their equivalent of whatever foolishness they entangled themselves into, and stuff like that. So I think from that perspective, it gets a little hazy on like how much I'm really supposed to be personally invested into all of that. From the perspective of like a celebrity or somebody in the mainstream media or whatever doing something. Whereas on the flip side, if this is one of my bros or somebody I personally know, and like I have your number in my phone, like it's a completely different energy towards situations like that. Cause it's like, bro, I need to know if this is really how you move, because that reflects poorly on me, because you're in my circle, you're around me, you're a reflection of who people think I associate with, so on and so forth. So, that's kind of how I look at that whole situation.
I think that's interesting, like what you said. I think it's interesting how people on the internet, social media react to these stories that happen, and without even really knowing much information about it, they'll go into the comments, they'll say the most hateful things, but you don't even know this person. You don't know what happened, what they've been through. Like even like the Chris Brown thing. You see people under his comments now. It's been however many years, but you'll see people under there. Oh, you're a woman beater. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, he can't change the past, and he probably wishes that he could. All he can do now is live life accordingly. Do the right thing now. You know what I mean? Live life how you want to see your future. Like, live life now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that people get carried away in cancel culture. You know, even what can I think of? Even the whole Tory Lanez situation. You may see people on Twitter calling them all these names, doing this, that, and the third, and it's like for what do you gain out of it? You know, it's like I never want to be the type of person to get too carried away. I'm never gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to R. Kelly anymore because of what he did. I mean, R. Kelly made great music, and at the end of the day, the music is the music. The music doesn't reflect what he is as a person. You know what I mean? These things don't reflect how they are as a person. You can be a fan of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan may have been a terrible teammate. He might have punched his teammates in the face, but you still gonna love Michael Jordan. So it's like, I feel like you can separate a person's craft from their personality. You know what I mean? You can separate how a person is, how a person lives their life from the things that made them famous. You feel me?
I agree.
Like Chris Brown makes great music. He made a mistake. You're not gonna be here. You're not gonna sit here and be like, just because I listen to Chris Brown means I'm a bad person. That doesn't mean I condone him or what he did. Like, you know, him and Rihanna doesn't mean anything. It just means I enjoy his craft. You know what I'm saying? So I think people often get carried away in this whole cancel culture thing and try to cancel everything when the only thing that should be canceled may be like the way that they live or that situation. You know what I mean? So I definitely think people get carried away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that battle with the separating the craft and like what they did, especially with like guys like Kanye West. Like I'm a firm believer. Like before he started dating Kim Kardashian, Kanye West was probably one of the greatest producers / artists that has ever lived. And then after Kim Kardashian, it's just like he just started saying whatever, and I don't even know, but he doesn't. But like you said, he doesn't move like that with the things he says because he's an excellent father, takes great care of his kids, and at the end of the day, he's an excellent family man. Like he takes great care of Kim. He's a great he's a great supporter of the whole family, despite them, you know, kind of being the people that they are. He's still a good individual at the end of the day, despite the things he did say.
But that's all perception, bro. Like that's the thing. That's all perception. Like these are all the things that we see at the forefront of social media. We see all these things that are presented to us. We never know how these people live their lives. That's why cancel culture is so like it could be a bad thing because, you know, we're all going off of what we hear, what we see that's put out. You know what I mean? We never know the whole story. Like, not saying that Tory Lanez wasn't in the wrong or things of that nature, but we don't know what happened. You know what I mean? Like, we're going off of reports. We're going off of what, you know, he said, she said. You feel me? So at the end of the day, we never know the full story. Like Kanye West, you know, besides what he posts on social media or things of that nature, Kanye West, he's probably a great dad. Like he's probably a great person, like in general, you know what I mean? And just because we may not have the same beliefs doesn't mean he's a bad person or things of that nature. So it's like, I think cancel culture also goes hand in hand with social media. You know what I mean? It's like
that's a fact.
What you see is what you're gonna think. Like, and media and things of that nature can steer your beliefs to what they want it to be. You know what I mean? So I think that everything is perception. You feel me? Like at the end of the day, what you see may not be the full story. So I think that you got to be real careful in what you say and what you put out there, and make sure you know the facts before you can make assumptions and put out all the things that you're going to put out about somebody.
I agree 100%. I think a lot of the times you get your hopes up. Like you would hope they're a great dad. You would hope somebody who does anything great is just great all the way around. But like, I mean, I look at like if every time I messed up, if it was broadcasted to the world, how would that necessarily make me feel? How would I react to being in that limelight with that pressure on me? I like to think that I could react well, but when you got 13-year-olds from Australia who don't even know what America looked like saying, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. You're going to be like, the fuck? Like, what the hell is this? You know? So it's hard for me to even, and that's why I say it's hard for me to really recognize, one, what they're going through, being the person who may be canceled, but then also being the person who is kind of in that social media space. Like, I'm focused on whatever the hell is rocking with me. And even when I engage with that type of stuff, I might put what I think about the situation out there in the world, and then I like leave it at that. And I feel like a lot of the times people try to draw these lines in the sand from those perceptions that you was talking about. Like, instead of saying, you know what, this is my opinion, and my opinion could be good and well and wrong. And later on down the road, I may realize it's wrong, and all I can do is apologize for it and keep it moving. But I think the benefit that a lot of everyday people have is that I can fuck up and not necessarily have to like have that broadcasted, not necessarily have to live with that anxiety of, bro, I make a misstep or I trip and it's going to be on TMZ, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever other media platform and stuff like that. So it's a weird dynamic that I think we've created, but at the same time, I also think that, you know, the celebrity and all that all that stuff is dying. Like, all that stuff is really coming to the point where, you know, people are starting to realize that there's no real bridge in that gap. Like, yes, I love what you do. I fuck what you do. I'm gonna support what you do, but that's about it. And that's, in my mind, that's as far as it should go. Once you start getting to the point where you're standing people and all that type of stuff, I think that's where it gets a little sick in my head, in my like mental space of it. But, you know, I think there's a hope that we hope for a lot of these people that, hey, you did something great, so hopefully you're a great father, or you're a great mother, or you're great this. But I don't really know you, my guy. I don't know you. So
Yeah.
I only know you through your craft, and that's really
yeah.
hard. That's really hard. Unless you got like things that you can verify that these things, like he actually does these things. Like, it's like another two people that I think of, Kobe and J. Cole. Like, they also experienced these things of
Mm-hmm.
getting threatening to be canceled because of what they did. But in hindsight, with the Kobe thing, when he was convicted of sexual assault way back in 2003, everybody was ready to like disband Kobe from the entire league, everything. I think
Was he
Adidas,
convicted? I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
Adidas dropped him from his brand. He lost a
I
lot of things because of that. Because of that.
I think he settled. I
Oh.
think he settled it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even with that, like, people talk about Kobe's legacy, and, you know, RP to Kobe, like, may he rest in peace. But people talk about Kobe's legacy, and it's like, this man died, and people were still trying to figure out, like, oh, can I support this man or not? Like, it's, to me, it's like, bro, he's dead. Like, what do you want? Like, he can't even give the apology you're looking for now. He's dead, type shit. So it's just weird, like, when it gets to that point of like, oh, can I appreciate the fact that, hey, this, like, somebody like Kobe shaped generations of people's mindset. There's people who looked at that whole Mamba mentality type of stuff and applied that to every single day of their life. So, you know, I feel like, you know, at times the good outweighs the bad, you know what I'm saying? And people are allowed to fuck up, bro. Like, people are allowed to fuck up. Some
Yeah.
fuck ups are unforgivable, and some of them are, and that's on us to dictate. But, like, just to hold it against you, like, bro, if I look at everything I've ever done wrong in my life, if that was held up against me every single day, it'd probably drive me insane.
I think that's the main problem with cancel culture. A situation like Kobe, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you still have people out here trying to cancel the man for something he did in 2000, like, was it 2001 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2020. The man is dead, and what he did since then was live his life like a black man should live his life. You feel me? Being a family man, being a great father, putting 100% into everything that you do,
Mm-hmm.
trying to make a difference. You feel me? He's the definition of somebody who bounced back. People
Mm-hmm.
have the opportunities to bounce back because we're human. You feel me? It's not about what you did then. It's about what you're going to do now. It's about how you want to be remembered. He was 41 years old, and he's going to be remembered as one of the most influential people of our era. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? He influenced a generation. He instilled the Mamba mentality within everybody. And at the end of the day, I think this whole cancel culture thing is to bring people down forever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And people are going to be here trying to say, well, he did this, he did that. That was back then. You can't do nothing about it. What he did was he tried to make up for it by living his life how people should live their life.
That's a
And
fact.
I think that, you know, people could really just get caught up in the whole cancel culture thing and trying to, and I feel like a lot of it is just, you know, social media attention, social media trolling. You feel me? So I think at the end of the day, like I said, social media and cancel culture go hand in hand. How people try to get attention and people try to troll and things of that nature. And it's just, you know, it's sad that things like that could happen, and you know, that people take cancellation so out of hand and things of that nature. So I think it's sad.
Yeah.
Last thing I'm gonna add because we run out of time is I was gonna say a little bit about Cole because also I think cancel culture is ineffective because sometimes they miss the message. Like when Cole came out with the track "Snow on the Bluff" in a response to No Name, I'm calling him out for not being a true social activist. He responded with like a clear cut message to say like, I know that I'm not the most educated individual, and I know that I can do more, and I will try to do more. But he also, the only part he said, and everybody took it way out of proportion, was like, just because I don't understand what's going on and I'm not completely educated, doesn't mean that it gives you like the complete right to just like, you know, call me out my name and just make me look like a totally bad individual. And that's all he said. Like, I appreciate you, you know, calling me out and like, you know, making me well aware of what I need to do to become better in these kind of times, of course. But it also just like you just can't deem me as a bad person. It was just like, and he said that like perfectly clear cut, and people were really trying to cancel him for that. And I was like, man, y'all missing the whole thing. That's another reason why I think it's ineffective because sometimes those individuals they miss like what really happened and what's really going on into it, and that's the reason why it can be like 50-50.
I
But
thought I thought I thought that was ridiculous though, because Cole is not an activist. You know what I mean? It's
mhm.
like, why are you expecting this? He's a rapper. He never said he was an activist, and he said he's uneducated. So why would you become an activist if you're uneducated? It's like, why are you putting this burden on him? He's a rapper. He never said he was an activist. So I mean, I thought that was dumb. Anyway.
I thought that situation was a weird situation, but it's like when you look at how it turned out, like here's somebody who, you know, they a lot of people say, oh, he picked on the black plight or he's used it in his music or stuff like that. But to me, it's like even if I speak on issues or even if we talk about stuff on a podcast space, like that doesn't make me Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? That makes me potentially have a level of influence, and therefore, eventually, as things grow, I have to be calculated on how I use my influence. But you can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, well, you know, you spoke about something that relates to a certain group of people, so now you're an activist. No,
Yeah.
don't put that on anybody unless that's the mantle that they pick up. So I thought that was weird. But then also when you're looking at, you know, people were trying to come at Kendrick, people were trying to come at all these people, and then pictures start floating around. Oh, they're at the marches. They may be donating. They may be doing this. They may be doing that. And it's kind of like to kind of watch people backtrack after it all comes out, and they're like, oh well, you know, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? And I just don't feel like, one, I don't feel like you're supposed to, well, not that you're supposed to, I don't feel like you have to run the social media for shit. If you want to, bro, you feel some type of way, you want to put up a post, go ahead. You see some crazy stuff out here in the streets and you want to put up a post about it, go ahead. But I don't feel like you have to. And I feel like a lot of people who are in the social media realm try to force you to engage in what they engage with, and bro, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to, and you don't have to feel that pressure to do it. Like, live your life, live the best life you can live, and like if the accomplishments come, it'll show regardless. And I guess before you even started recording, that's what we were talking about. Like, time is gonna tell all. It's
Yep.
going to tell all. Like, and it's I don't know. People weird, bro. People weird when it comes to that type of stuff.
Well, yeah, like he said, time will tell all. And yeah, like especially on that point where when he was saying like when the pictures started coming out about Kendrick and J. Cole actually being at these rallies, people were like, whoa, 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 okay, I might have misstepped here. When people don't miss the fact that J. Cole has like, I think if I'm not mistaken, like 3 posts on his Instagram, and he don't ever post unless he dropping music. Him and Kendrick are the same with that. They're not social media people, so you don't see anything that they do. and they realize unless they talk about it in their music, which they do a great job of it, because if you listen to them, they actually like speak on everything that's going on in today's time, society, and everything in their music, and they say how we can become better, and how we can do these things to, you know, become elevated in today's society, especially, being minorities, of course. But that's really all that I have for y'all today. This was a really great conversation. I'm really glad that we got a chance to get Alex on here, being the fact that he is a very cultural kind of guy when it comes, especially on his podcast as well. And he talks about a lot of cultural aspects. It's really good to have him for this conversation. But as always, gotta thank Alex for coming on today. Didn't have
Thank
to.
you for having me, for sure.
Very, very appreciated that you did come on. And PJ, as always, he's always here now every episode, every time he always comes through with a good take or a good comment for keep the conversation going, and I'm grateful for that as well. And
Hey, can I say something real quick?
oh yeah, go ahead, finish up.
So, all right, vote. Election day coming up. We got to get these polls. You feel me? I just want to make a little announcement before we dip. You know what I'm saying? It seems like Biden is up right now, but I don't want that to discourage anybody from still going out to vote. We got to close this thing out. You feel me? We're talking about cancel culture and things of that nature, but one person that needs to be canceled is President Trump and his administration, because coronavirus alone, it's been tough, man, and he's not taking it seriously enough. So I think that I just wanted to make it clear, like, we still need to get out to these polls, man. We need to make a difference. You feel me? Like, this gonna be my first presidential election. A lot of my peers, it will be as well. So I'm excited to get out there, and I think, oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. That's what need to happen, bro. We need to make our voice heard, man. As the next generation, we need to vote and get what we want to see, get that into office. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure.
yeah, man. Let's pop out the polls, man. That's all I have.
Early voting closes November 31st, and then of course election day is November 3rd. So get out there and do what you need to do. No cap.
I think you meant October 31st because it's not 31 days of November, but we just gonna laugh at that.
Yeah, my fault. You know what I mean? Go vote.
Yeah, go out there, bro. Go vote, bro.
Well, but anyway, that's all we got today. This is our signing off. Alex, PJ, great conversation, and see y'all soon.
Later, brother.
Peace.